As airsofters, we have a lot of expensive optics and cameras that we like to bring out on the airsoft field, and we don't really want to get them shot out. Whether that be something like this, a Run Cam 2 for your scope cam, just a regular Amazon red dot optic, or your expensive ass GoPro that you don't want to get broken. We all want to have these things protected, and especially nowadays with the toxicity that comes with a lot of people that play airsoft, I've known some people who actually aim for people's optics and GoPros and try to break them. Why? I don't know. I guess just because they're shitheads. But today I'm going to show you how to avoid all of that with a little magic piece of plastic called Lexan. This is a small little piece. I've already cut it off and used it on the camera. I'm going to show you how I make my setup for the camera. And basically all it is just this plastic from Home Depot. It's rigid enough, and like you can bend it and stuff, and you can sand it and cut it. Under no circumstances will this break a lens, or will it break an optic piece of glass or something like that. I would be comfortable using this stuff for eye protection, honestly. If you could make a visor with it, I would be comfortable using this stuff for that, because it's just not going to break. And if you're using a camera, it's going to stay clear, and as long as you don't get fingerprints on it, it'll be nice. So Lexan is the name of the game, and what you want to do is you want to go to Home Depot or Lowe's and find yourself some Lexan. You can get a sheet of this. I think I paid $6 something for this sheet. It's going to be really hard to find on the maps in the store, because they don't, for whatever reason, it's in a weird aisle that they just don't have labeled. So you have to find it at Home Depot or Lowe's. Set it up on your desk, and this is how you cut it. So first you want to take a Sharpie and mark out where you want to have this cut at. If you're using like a square piece for like a camera, I like to use a corner side, because if you use the corner side, then you only have to cut twice instead of 4. So you just see me here, I'm just marking out the outline of how big I want it to be. You want to let a little bit of overhang on it, just in case a BB clips the side of it or hits it on the side. Having a little bit of overhang can help out a lot. Also having some kind of straight edge or something like that to make sure you make your line straight. If you look here, my lines are not straight, but that doesn't really matter. Just get them as straight as possible. Once you get your lines drawn, you're going to want to take like a box cutter or something and just score one side, which is just all you're doing is making a thin little cut, a little slice down there. You're going to do this like 6, 7, 8 times. You just want to make sure you put the knife right in the same slice cut that you put in there before, and just keep on doing it. You're going to need to do it a bunch. This is how you break this and get it clean lines. You can use like a pair of like metal snips, or like a pair of like big ass scissors to cut this, or if you have like a big bladed thing, like one of those things that used to cut this, you can do that, but I find that this makes way cleaner edges. You can of course sand it up at the end, but this is the easiest way I found to do it. You want to make sure you score it on both sides though, so make sure you do the exact same amount on one side and the other side. As you'll see here, I'll try to break it, and it doesn't want to break. There's not enough give in it or anything, so I got to go back and score the shit again a couple more times. As you can see, I'm not directly on the line, but all that matters is that you just get it generally in the same spot. As long as both sides, like both walls, cuts on either side of the plastic are more or less in the same spot, you should be able to break it fairly easily. And you see right there, it just snaps off. No problem. You get nice clean edges. This plastic that's on there, I want to make sure to bring this up. Do not take that plastic off. Leave the plastic on there until you're ready to put the thing on the damn camera. All you're going to do is make it oily and gross, and it's not going to work well. So you see me doing the exact same thing with this side. This side's a little bit easier. Just do the same thing, score, score, score. And this side's going to be a little bit easier because you have more leverage on the end. And I can honestly probably just break it with my thumb, but there you go. Just bend it over on the thing, break it, perfect, good to go. Now you're going to want to get yourself some electrical tape. I like electrical tape for this because it's black. It looks cleaner once it's done. You don't need it to be super secure. You just want to get something that's going to hold that lens in place. And you do kind of want to have something that has a little bit of give to it, because the less rigidity, like the less it doesn't bend, is going to mean that it can take BB hits harder. Now I like you make sure whenever you're doing this, you don't just want to tape the lens directly to the camera itself. You want to build yourself a little bit of a spacer, kind of like this right here, just so it's not directly against the camera lens if you're putting it on a GoPro. Now, if you see here, I have a GoPro Hero 7. The Hero 7 is the last one that had a case. Using a case is way easier because you can take the GoPro in and out and get to the battery a lot easier. If you're doing it on one of the newer GoPros, you're going to have to just tape it directly to the GoPro. There's no other option. Fuck GoPro for taking away the cases. They're fucking stupid, but whatever. It is what it is. And then you're going to want to tape the spacer to the lens. Then you're going to want to tape the spacer to the Lexan itself, just like you see me doing here. Once you're done with that, you put it back on the shell. Sure that your lens is extremely clean, because if you're doing something where if you're taping it directly to it, you definitely want to make sure your lens is clean, because you're not going to be able to get back to it to clean it without taking the whole thing off. At this point, you can remove all of the plastic on the shell. Just be really careful to touch it as little as possible. You're inevitably going to touch the plastic, but just try to touch it as little as possible. You take your one strip of electrical tape and wrap it around the front where you put that black wall of tape right there where the spacer is. Most of your holding tension is going to come from this side, because we're not going to put any tape on the other side, because that's where the damn lens is and the lens wouldn't be able to see. So if you're using a shell like this, you can kind of run the bottom side along the side of the door, or you can just tape it to the back of the door, which is what I did here. If you tape it to the back of the door, it kind of wants to give away a little bit quicker. I kind of like to run it underneath, but just for this, I decided to wrap it around the outside. And then you want to make sure that you take the GoPro out right here, so you can get, if you have a case. If you don't have a case, you don't have to worry about this part. We're just taping it directly to the GoPro, whatever's the easiest way you can find to tape it. If you do have a case, you want to pop the GoPro out so you can run the tape in the little power hole right here. And once you run the tape through that hole, then you can just tape it to itself on the other side. When you put the camera back in the case, the tension of the camera is going to keep the tape from coming unloose, and it'll be there forever. You put the camera back in. I remove the last little bit of plastic right here. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to put some support just a little bit on that other side, because I notice if you tape it all on one side, it likes to kick up and like lets BBs come in from the side, or it's just not close enough to the glass for me, or it'll make some kind of glare. So I run one little piece of tape along the bottom, make sure it's below the lens. The lens is not going to see this tape as long as you put it like I have right here below the outside edge of the lens, and then just tape it to the shell itself. If you're using a case, yeah, pop the GoPro out, fold the fins inside the case, and you're good to go. Last thing you want to do before you go out and play, turn your GoPro on, make sure that it doesn't see any of the tape, make sure it looks good, make sure the fitment's good, and then close it up and you're good to go. You're going to end up with something looking like this, where you just have the black here and the black here with your lens right there. You can go right on top of your mask, and it'll be the most impenetrable fortress of BB that's ever been. I've been hitting the mask, I've been hitting the optics a bunch with this Lexan stuff, and it's never once broken. If you have a big optic like this, I highly recommend using Lexan or some kind of optic protector on it. If you have something smaller, like this little optic right here, this little Belishy tiny thing that I got off of Amazon, I don't put Lexan on this. I've played several games with this, I haven't put Lexan on it, and it's so small that the odds of it getting shot are very, very small. Now, just because the odds are small doesn't mean it can't get shot out. Like I said, I know of some people who like to be dickheads and run around fields trying to shoot out people's GoPros and cameras and optics. So that's why I started doing this Lexan thing. Also, the ones on Evike, the prices range from like $8 to like $42 on the crazy end, and they're made out of the exact same material. They might even be less protective than the Lexan, because like I said, if I needed to make iPro out of this stuff, I would be totally comfortable making iPro with it and it not breaking on BBs. I hope that this video helped you out a bunch. I hope that you're going to go and get some Lexan and put it on your optics, and I hope that you're going to tell all your friends about the gloriness of Lexan and how cheap it is and how it can protect all of your super expensive lenses, GoPros, optics, all that stuff. If you like the content, go ahead and like the video and leave a comment down below about what you liked about it. If you didn't like it, okay, don't watch the video, don't care. If you play Airsoft in the North Georgia or South Tennessee area and you want a good group of people to come play with, you can join my Discord. The link for that's in the description down below. The Discord has people who play at Nashville, has people who play at Insane, and has, I think it's just Nashville and Insane that we do have now. I don't mess with GE, as you can see, like as you know, GE's toxic. I don't mess with that place. I don't mess with Airsoft Tactical either, because they're shit. So, but really just Insane and Nashville right now. Whenever Elite Ops opens, we're gonna have some stuff going on the Discord with them. I still have a bunch of patches for sale, so if you do want to pick those up, the link is in the description down below. They're only like $5 on eBay, so if you do want to support the channel, you want to help me out, want to help me making good content for y'all, just go ahead and pick up one of those patches, please God. And that's everything. Like I said, I hope you can take this Lexan tip, and I hope you can tell all of your Airsoft friends and protect all of your optics from all of the dangers of shitheads trying to shoot them out. And as always, all glory goes to God. I am Jernsky. You have yourself a wonderful day. Peace.